Here's your host, Miguel Hard.
Welcome to In Remembrance Physics Edition. I'm your host, Abigail Hod, and today we have a very special episode starring current physics honor students. Our first contestant is a straight A student who enjoys coming to class and engaging. Please welcome Noah Gall. How are you doing, Noah?
I'm great.
Alright, cool. Next, please welcome Junior Yoav Nissan, a fine gentleman who wants everyone to know how much he loves physics.
Hey Mom, hey Dad.
How are you doing, Yoav? Are you excited? Alright. Finally, put your hands together for Mrs. Trioni's favorite student that always keeps his hat off, Sunny Tran. Okay, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Our first question. What was the most humorous thing that happened in physics this year? Noah!
The most humorous thing that has happened in physics this year was during our electromagnetic radiation unit. In the beginning of the unit, Ms. Trioni had us create an EM wave with our bodies. I recall having an extremely hard time doing this and getting the visualization of an EM wave completely wrong. We then went outside and retried it. At this point, we had understood how to do it, but Yoav ripped his brand new pants. That was hilarious. He ran in class and sat down, not being able to participate anymore. I remember laughing at it for the rest of the class. Then, the class went inside and Ms. Trioni explained to us that an oscillating charged particle, which creates the EM wave, goes up and down. This oscillating charged particle creates two fields, such as shown in this picture, an electric and a magnetic field. We had to represent that with our bodies, which was very hard. In this unit, we learned a lot about how the EM wave is created and did many activities, such as this, in which we had to represent that.
Alright, Noah, good job. That's $500 in your bank account. Now moving on to the next question. Okay, young fellas, what do you think was the most amazing thing we learned in physics this year? Now let me hear your buzzer. That's Yoav.
Well, of course it has to be the northern lights, which we learned in the Sun and Earth unit. Well, let's get this out of the way. Those horrible solar winds, which are bursts from the sun, which release those particles through the solar flares, the energy from the solar winds are transferred to the charged particles that make up the magnetosphere. After the Van Allen belts are the two areas that the equator where the Earth's magnetic field traps the particles. These charged particles, which are in the Van Allen belts, are quickly pulled out to the two poles, the north and the south. The different particles form lights throughout the sky, which can be seen from countries such as Ireland from the north and Antarctica from the south. Here's a great visual of how the northern lights and sunlights should look. You see those different colors? Those are created from the different elements that are created. Some are green, some are blue, some are even pink.
$600 for having a detailed explanation. Yay. Everyone ready? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. What did you learn in physics this year that you will use in other classes? That's Sunny.
In one unit, we learned about vectors. In math class, we also use vectors, and a vector is a quantity that has direction and magnitude, especially determining the position from one point in space to another. Just like in math, when we use vectors, we deal with x and y components, and we also use SOHCAHTOA. In math, in trig and in geometry, I use SOHCAHTOA and the law of cosines, and for physics, we use the law of cosines and SOHCAHTOA to determine the resultant and x and y components of vectors.
That's a good answer, Sunny. I use vectors in math all the time. That's $500.
Good job.
That's good.
For this next question, your answer must be very original in order to get the point.
Okay.
What will you think of when someone says physics? Yoav.
When someone says physics, I automatically think of the energy unit, of course. During the energy unit, the things that make me think of physics is the handy dandy calculator, of course. Throughout this unit, we used equations such as kinetic energy, shown here, which is 1/2 mv squared. M equals mass, V which equals the velocity, and the square is just a square. And the potential energy is measured by, right here, is measured by mgh. The mass M, the G, gravity, 9.8, and the height from the ground, of course. And lastly, the spring potential energy, measured 1/2 kx squared. K equaled the spring constant, x is the spring displacement, and the squared is the squared again. So let me give you an example. Throughout this unit, we used a lot of equations, but here I'll give you one that Ms. Trioni gave us. So we would have the numbers, we would calculate the kinetic energy, meaning that the mass would be 5 grams, and the velocity would be 8.6 meters per second. Ms. Trioni would be, grab your handy dandy calculator, and you would take your calculator and do 5 times 8.6 squared, and you would get 369.8000001. Yeah!
Great answer, Yoav. You just earned $450 to your bank.
Yeah.
Next question. How will physics fit into the rest of your life? Who got this one? Oh, Sunny got it!
Fundamental unit, we learned about conversions. For example, something as simple as measurements can be misread. Like distances, the US uses inches, feet, and miles, which don't have easy and random conversions. But in other countries, they use the metric system, which are easily divisible by 10. For example, I have this picture here, and this is the metric unit. So as you can see, things like centimeters and decimeters, it's like divisible by 10, and it's easy to convert. And then also in physics, these conversions can help you with like stuff like baking, for example. Like you need conversions for tablespoons and teaspoons and cups.
Sounds good, Sunny. You just got $650 to your bank. Thanks for using examples. All right, everybody. This is our last question. So is everyone ready?
Yeah.
All right. What will you pass on to next year's students that are taking Ms. Gioni's physics honors class? Noah!
Something I would definitely pass on to next year physics honor students is to get help with math for the Motion 2 unit. This unit was especially hard for me because there was a lot of math. Not everyone was in the same math level, and so it must have been really hard for Ms. Trioni to always make sure we were on track. For this reason, I think that anyone who is having problems with math next year should go see Ms. Trioni on their free time and get help. At the end of the unit, there was a lot of math to catch up on, and on the test, we had to apply the math we learned to more difficult problems. Some problems that were specifically hard were ones that regarded free fall, perpendicular motion, circular motion, and Newton's laws. In addition, there are many things that we had to account for, such as the fact that motions, which are perpendicular, are totally independent, and that in a projectile, the x motion has a constant velocity while the y motion accelerates.
Okay, everybody, we got a winner. All right? Our winner in this episode of In Remembrance Physics Edition, our winner is, can I get a drum roll? Sunny Tran!
What the heck? Thank you!
I would like to thank my parents, Ms. Trioni, for teaching me about physics. What else? I would like to thank my fellow students for also helping me study. And that's it. Thank you. Yay.
All right, cool.
Noah, how do you feel about this?
I'm extremely sad.
Yo, how do
I
you
think
feel
it was
about
rigged.
I think this is unfair, uncalled
This is
for.
absurd.
All right, commercials.